Hello everybody and welcome to episode 7 of the Round Room. Today with me I have RoxasXIIILK.
Hello.
KrytenKoro.
Yo.
And Troisnyx.
Beep.
All from the Kingdom Hearts Wiki. So welcome to the Round Room, folks.
Hello.
And thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Today we're going to be talking about the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra and the trailer that was just shown. So to start off, for the two of you that went to the orchestra, Kryten and Roxas, what did you guys think?
It's definitely very interesting music, and the videos were very good choices, especially the ones that they did the live action videos.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting that.
Agreed. It was great. Like, honestly, I was blown away.
Yeah, we, and I think everybody went to the New York concert on the 23rd, and then I also went on the 24th, and it was quite an experience. It was a lot of fun.
You just couldn't get enough of it, I take it.
Exactly, I had to go again.
Yep.
Okay, so given that, were there any downsides to the concert itself? Like, did you guys have any problems?
I wouldn't really say it was the concert's fault, but I was kind of disappointed with some members of the audience on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really seem to know how to act in an orchestra, and there was a lot of yelling and hooting during the songs.
Yeah, I can second that one.
Yeah, that seemed to be a big problem with quite a few people. There was a post on Reddit that addressed that as well.
Crikey, video games live. Whenever you see a televised version of video games live, you see the same thing happening.
Okay, good to see it's not just Kingdom Hearts fans that have that problem. It's kind of a video games thing. I'm sure it's happened between the Zelda concerts and the whatever other the Pokemon Orchestra and whatnot.
So I didn't get to read it myself, but I did hear somebody talking about how the interviews with Yoko Shimomura had a very polite reference to how American audiences can be. I think the word she used was passionate about music. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was actually I ended up reading that as well, but that was taken before the concerts actually took place.
I mean, even that was I believe she mentioned that in the interview that I translated from the Japan Expo some 5 years ago. As soon as I think it was I forget who it was that was interviewed along with Shimomura, but it was one of the actual directors of Kingdom Hearts. Not so much the producer himself. Obviously, this was not Tetsuya Nomura. This was somebody under him. I forget his name.
Hashimoto?
But yes,
okay.
Shinji Hashimoto. And he mentioned this as well. He came to the customs department. He had his luggage checked and all that. And when asked what he did, he said he does video games. When asked which one in particular, he said Kingdom Hearts. And the customs officer was like, "Oh, Kingdom Hearts." He was fawning over it, basically.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. The customs officer was basically fawning over the fact that he was working on Kingdom Hearts.
Oh gosh. Oh goodness gracious.
I know.
That's really funny. I mean, it's kind of like that's Americans, all right.
I mean, I suppose you do get that sort of passionate, well, to put it lightly, passionate conduct in video game orchestras, even in here, because I know Video Games Live isn't spared from this sort of thing. Now, mind you, that's coming from a place that's relatively reserved and dry in its humours, so I can't imagine just how much it would be multiplied by when you're talking about this in the American context.
Oh yeah, I completely believe that would be amplified. But yeah, was there any other issues that you guys kind of ran into during your experience in the concert?
I know one kind of instance that I had was there was a bunch of people checking their phones in the audience, and then you'd have the bright, wicked bright flash of light.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Paul, anything?
Not on my end. I know some people were complaining about like people not dressing up, but I thought it was okay, and I thought the cosplays people were doing were really cool.
Appreciated. Yeah, I thought they didn't. I looked on the website because I was a bit concerned on the dress and the appropriation and whatnot to dress for a concert. Because normally for an orchestra concert, you do dress up, you go fancy and whatnot. But I ran a poll on the Twitter, kind of asking what everybody else was wearing because they didn't really specify on the website or on even the actual website for the event place. Can't think of the name of it, but they didn't specify anything. So I'm like, oh, I guess it's anything. And I ran a poll on Twitter, and there was a mix of people saying they were both doing casual stuff and formal stuff. So I'm like, hey, I'll do a cosplay because it's what I do, and people love it. And people did. People took plenty of pictures. And I don't think it was for those who didn't go formally, I don't think it was a disrespect, and I hope they didn't interpret it that way, and I hope I didn't do anything for that. But I think it was more of a homage to say we love this series, and we want to express that. Because a lot of people also did kind of a combination of a formal and a cosplay. They did like a formal Aqua and a formal Terra, like orchestra version of Venitas or whatever, and those turned out pretty cool as well.
Yeah. I think we met an Orchestra Shion in the elevator, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. At the train station after the concert, we actually met an Orchestra Shion on the way back, and she was really cool. So that was kind of cool. One problem I did have, it was partially my fault, but not that at all. I sat next to the door, and there were people still coming in during like the 4th or 5th song. Like getting there.
Yeah, I noticed that. And then you had, the ushers that were walking around with the lights. Mm-hmm. That was definitely distracting.
Yes, it was not to the fault of the ushers. They were just doing their job and whatnot.
Of course.
And I kind of felt bad because the people in front of me had to stand up to let other people through. And they kind of apologized, and I didn't say anything. But I kind of wanted to say, like, hey, it's not your fault. You got here on time. Like, you're okay. I'm pissed at the people that got here during the 3rd.
I guess the other thing to ask then would be, how were parking facilities over there? Was it ample? Was it crowded? Well, that could influence.
Yeah, that could have been part of it, but it's downtown New York, so they didn't have parking at the actual theater. You had to park somewhere else in the city and then either take a train or walk there.
Yikes.
I mean, if you're going to a concert in New York, I mean, you should you shouldn't be like driving there, like, you know, and planning on getting there right before the concert, because it's just not gonna happen.
Aren't there very many one-way streets in New York anyway?
Yeah,
New York.
yeah.
I think we experienced a few kind of by where our Airbnb was, but I don't think we experienced any like by the concert. Of course, we weren't looking by the concert itself because
Fair.
we took a train there.
Yeah.
And the train ride was about an hour to get there, hour and a half, 2 hours ish to get there. So people might have not planned on it, but it's still. But the way the people were coming in, they were not being polite or quiet about it. Like, there's a way to kind of enter and be like, "Sorry, I'm here. Let me just quick get to my seat. All good." But these people just didn't care that a concert was going on. It was very disrespectful, and it made me very unhappy.
That is bad.
So, that's a problem I had. But I also sat by the door, so that's kind of to be expected at a lot of theaters. But I just felt like it was a bit amplified here. I didn't experience that at all during the second day. I sat in the balcony day 2. I didn't sit next to the door, but I still didn't see a lot of people coming in during like the 4th or 5th song. So I didn't really have that problem. But yeah, just kind of annoying. So given that, Joey and Roxas and Kryten, what did you? What was your favorite performance? I already know Roxas's.
How could you not?
Really though. But for the audience, what was your favorite performance, Roxas?
Well, it had to have been The Other Promise.
Oh, quite. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I kind of melted right when they started playing that one. I knew I would. So,
I may have
but
cried.
I mean, aside from the obvious, I mean, the hero melody was really fun.
Let's see. Personally, I went for the villain's melody.
So yeah, the boss fight at the boss themes at the end were like great. They were definitely another favorite part of mine.
Yeah,
I know Kevin actually commented on that as well. That was his favorite part. So that was definitely a shared part of ours.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorites. Was the final boss melody, and I had listened to the soundtrack before the concert, which I partially wish I didn't because it spoiled a little bit, but I still enjoyed myself. But one part that I noticed that was different on the soundtrack than actually in theater was the Waltz of the Damned. I could hear a lot more of the choir, and I thought that was amazing. It like gave me chills.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that portion, and I enjoyed the boss battles portion. Now, Joey, how did you think? During the character themes when they played Roxas's theme, how did you think? Being in an orchestra, how do you think that kind of compared with The Other Promise? Did you think they sounded a lot more similar than they did in game, or?
Yeah, but I mean, like you said with Waltz of the Damned, you have all of that more like chorus element, and it's just like brought to the forward. And I mean, I feel like those themes, like Roxas's theme in general, just has that chorus backdrop, and it's just it's it just amplifies the whole thing. But yeah.
Okay. So definitely, I would say that was definitely a good time overall. But if you were to give it a rating out of 10, what do you guys think of the concert?
I kind of have to go with 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say like if I'm gonna be like not biased, then I'll say 9. But no, I'll scream with 10.
Yeah. I was gonna say for the concert itself, at no fault to because all the problems I had weren't to the fault of the concert itself. There was actually a technical issue day 2, but it lasted for like half a second and it was over with. And they played it off really funny. So But yeah, I definitely have to say a 10 myself, maybe an 11.
Actually, day one, I think they had a technical issue too, but it was like during the intermission, so like they weren't. It didn't actually like. Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember the intermission was like wicked long. We were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, "We'll be back in a minute. Just having some technical problems."
Yeah.
What happened? I totally missed that.
I don't really know what happened, but they were just I don't know, maybe they were just having some like problems with. I feel like it might have been the video screen actually.
Yeah. I kind of got that vibe a little bit too because I noticed the conductor was like waiting a bit for a couple times. I could kind of see the conductor, and there was a video screen in front of him, so he could reference it and whatnot. And there were a couple times where it seemed like he was waiting a lot longer than he should have been. So, but it didn't impact my experience at all personally. 10 out of 10 would go again. Definitely would go on another 10-hour car ride. There.
I wouldn't, man. I'm gonna fly next time.
No, yeah, I would definitely fly next time as well.
Honestly, like. Even the fact that you guys were driving all the way to New York, I was like, you are crazy, but power to you.
It was painful, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I will take the train rides every time.
I will happily take a train or a plane or a bus next time. Because riding for 10 hours with 5 people in a car is not the best experience. I would definitely
I can
take some other form of transportation next time.
If we have to be on the road next time, a party bus is being rented.
Agreed. We will happily take a party bus. Given that, anything else you two want to talk about in terms of the concert or your experience there?
I just thought it was just a really great time. I got to take my my girlfriend out with me for a night at the concert, and it's pretty amazing for me.
Yeah, I'll have to second that. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It was good music. It was Kingdom Hearts, so I mean.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to say no more, but yeah.
And as for me, everything that was said. I was actually lucky and got to be part of a KH13 meetup, and I found that a lot of fun as well. Got to see a lot of cosplays without having to be cramped in the halls, and I got to meet a lot of people that contribute to KH13, and I got to meet Project Estati and a lot of other content creators, and that was really cool to see all that. And then the concert on top of that twice was just like, yes.
Yeah, if I had the money to like throw at that, I probably would have gone twice myself.
Yes. I didn't have the money, but I couldn't sell my second ticket, so I'm like, I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah, that's why I sat all the way in the balcony too.
Yeah. All right. Given that, I'd like to move on to kind of transition to the next topic. The music in general, actually. Going off the orchestra thing. Now, so for you guys, what do you think? What's your favorite song in the series? Joey, Roxas, we know yours.
Well, okay. So, aside from that, I really have a deep love for Estati, just because it's just such a cool theme, and it just incorporates that choir so well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it gives me chills, especially like the like hyped version of it, like besides like the mellow melody.
Mm-hmm. The ones they use in like the trailers and such.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. Paul, what about you?
Well, me and everyone in my family have always been really big fans of Nightmare Before Christmas. I think Hot Topic basically owns my sister for the next decade. So it's always going to be the Halloween Town songs for me.
Okay. Twanic?
That's fair.
A bit of a toss-up, actually. a bit of a toss-up between the Disappeared, because I actually loved that battle theme when I first heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred Moon and actually a bit of a toss-up between Disappeared and Sacred Moon.
Okay, those are a couple of my favorites as well. Sacred Moon, when I first heard that, I instantly fell in love. And Disappeared, I kind of got a acquired taste for, especially since I got to I wasn't too familiar with the soundtrack right off the bat, but as I became more familiar with it, I appreciated the kind of reference back to Forze del Mal and some of the other themes that are in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, I always have a hard time choosing because it always seems like my favorite or like my favorites at the moment constantly switch. Like I used to love, at one point Sacred Moon was my favorite, and then Dismiss was a favorite of mine, and then Darkness of the Unknown. So I constantly switched between a lot of them, but one that's kind of been consistent is been Rage Awakened. For me. And I love the different versions we get from each of them as well.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a lot, and I definitely can't choose a favorite. I actually remember an interview from Yoko Shimomura saying something like, what was her favorite of the bunch, and she said, these are like my children, I can't choose a favorite.
That's pretty fair.
Naturally, you're the composer. You kind of can't choose between them.
Exactly, yeah. I was going to say, it must be so much harder for a composer to choose their favorite songs. I'm sure you can relate, Troisnyx, to that.
I can indeed.
Because you do your own music and whatnot.
Yeah, I do. I think the biggest thing that I related to was back in that Japan Expo interview that I translated some 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The workflow. Everyone who works behind a digital audio workstation, which is one of them programs that you use to make music, whether it be Cubase, FL Studio, whatever, will probably understand the pains of being cooped up behind a screen, not knowing what anybody is going to think about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And now she basically said that was her. Well, that was a way she didn't really know how to gauge. But I suppose with something as far-reaching as Kingdom Hearts, you'd know the fan reaction eventually. For those of us mere mortals, it's a different idea altogether. And I'm saying that word as sarcastically and as dryly as I possibly can, by the way.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I can... Shimomura is very fortunate in the aspect of being able to have a large reaction where she can get a lot of feedback. Because it is such a widespread series and love for the music she composes.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool that you kind of have that connection and that depth of understanding for Miss Shimomura that I, like myself, can't quite understand myself.
I mean, I guess every musician has that to a degree. That's the only way you're going to keep yourself firmly grounded in whatever it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're thankful for all of our musicians that bring us wonderful pieces, like the goddess Shimomura herself. Praise be unto her name.
What a lovely lady she is.
I know. Okay.
So precious.
Good. Okay. Seeing her at the concert.
Oh my god.
I did not get the VIP. I was not one of the fortunate people to pay $180 to $190 to say hello to her for 2 seconds. But seeing her on stage, and for those of you who didn't go to the concert, I don't know if this happened at all the concerts or just a select few, but at the concert we were at, after she introduced herself and introduced the concert after like the second or third song, she came back up at the end to take a bow, and then she mentioned that she said that she, as a gift to us and as a thank you for coming out, she played an encore, and she played Fantasia alla Marcia at the end of the set list, and I thought that was the most amazing thing ever. But the way she carried herself and just the way she acted, she was so precious, and oh goodness,
She was so giggly, and oh my god, she was cute. She was adorable.
She was adorable so much.
She was.
And I'm like, let me hug you. Oh my gosh. Like, she's a wonderful person. I'm sure. But now kind of transitioning into what's coming up in the series. We have just finished a couple months ago. We just released the 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 stuff for PS4. So that's all done. We don't need any more remakes. We got Union Cross out of the way. Next thing on our plate, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes, about fucking time.
I mean, to be fair, that has been something on our plate for a while, but you know.
I think
There has been something on our plate since 2006.
Yep.
I was gonna say, to be fair, I think it's been on fans' plates far longer than it's been on Nomura's plate.
I can't even say the amounts of times where I'll like talk to a random person, like, so Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, yeah.
a little bit of an anecdote to share, because my fiance is a Star Trek fan, and prior to the ironclad release date of Star Trek Discovery, he shared my pain, because basically our wait for Kingdom Hearts is like him trying to wait for a new series of the Star Trek Enterprise. But now Kingdom Hearts has pipped it. Yeah. We are pathetic. We are just absolutely bloody pathetic right about now.
To put it in
over 10 years waiting for this game.
Okay, to put it into perspective, first of all, I would like to say they didn't announce anything about Kingdom Hearts 3 until about, I'm gonna be corrected on this no matter what I say. I want to say like 3-4 years ago when we got that trailer at E3 with Sora and the Master Keeper on Destiny Islands.
Yeah, three years ago. That's about right.
Yeah, 3-4 years ago, something like that. I'm gonna be corrected anyway. Whatever. YOLO.
But the anticipation has been there ever since, regardless.
I was going to say, but, to put it in perspective, are you ready for this? The first trailer for Final Fantasy Versus 13, now known as Final Fantasy 15, came out the same year as Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah.
And to see 15 finally released, and all their DLC coming out, we just got episode Prompto, and it's a fun game so far. I haven't quite beaten it yet, but it's fun so far. You might correct me on that. I'm pretty sure they came out the same year in 2006.
Yeah,
but
I think it was 2006 because I actually remember singing to it at that age.
Singing Somnus.
Yes, singing Somnus. Yeah. Singing Somnus, much to the annoyance of my college friends.
Well, if you guys...
I was in sixth form college at the time, so you could imagine, in the computer room with two mad people singing Somnus.
Well, if you guys really want a sign of how long it's been that's going to make you feel old, I mean, there's kids being named Sora and Kairi who are just starting in preschool by now.
Yes, I actually
second what?
At my work, I had a little kid that came in. I work at a supermarket, and The dad said, "Come along, Kyrie," and I'm like, "Oh boy." And I'm like, no, it's just gotta be it's just gotta be a coincidence. Can't be it. And then I saw a Triforce tattoo on the mother's arm, and I'm like, oh boy.
You have got to be fucking kidding
So
me
I
right
asked, and yes, they named their daughter after Kyrie in Kingdom Hearts, and she was like 5 years old at the
If
time.
this were, I mean, I suppose if they had a name that actually fit, as opposed to just shoehorning the name, I could understand. But my word.
I did actually. I know another person named Kyrie that is unrelated to the Kingdom Hearts series, but it's spelled differently and it's a boy. So I've heard the name before, so it sounds more natural to me, and it probably sounds a lot more natural to me because of my 10 plus years of experience with the Kingdom Hearts series. But, yeah. To me, it can sound natural, and they're just like, oh, it just came to me, you know? They were like, yeah, when people ask, we're like, oh, yeah, it just kind of came to us. It sounded pretty in a baby book or whatever. Like they seemed pretty chill about it, but they were kind of excited that somebody caught the reference as well.
Oh dear.
Oh goodness. But and to kind of going back on the Final Fantasy 15 Kingdom Hearts 3 thing. First of all, Somnus is a very pretty song. My goodness, bless Yoko Shimomura again. Can't stop praising her. Yeah, to kind of see that entire cycle develop, and to see us develop slowly, because we stopped getting that one game a year thing quite a while back, and so right now all we have to look forward to is Union Cross updates, which aren't big at all, and Kingdom Hearts 3, which we are getting an update in about 13 days from the time of this recording. We're getting one on the 15th. So,
yes.
Happy day.
All I can say from my sanity level is it better involve a release date.
We are guaranteed.
Days are here again.
We are guaranteed a world and a trailer.
Okay.
Well, that's
there better be a
something.
date at the end of that trailer.
That world
Or
better be the
I'm
release
going-
date world. No. So, kind of looking back, I got involved with the series after I didn't even start knowing anything until just before Days was released. So I don't have a lot of cycles to compare it to in terms of other Kingdom Hearts games. But looking back on Dream Drop, and kind of knowing that we'll probably have somewhere between 7 and 13 worlds. And when I say between, it's going to be one of the two, because 7 and 13.
Yes, we know.
Yeah. So far, we have Twilight Town confirmed, the World of Corona from Tangled. We have Big Hero 6 world that's not named in the game yet. San Francisco or whatever. And I think those are the only 3 worlds that are confirmed.
Olympus.
And Olympus, thank you. Yes.
Right.
How did I forget that one? Like, the most prominent one. So we're at 4 confirmed worlds so far. Looking back at the Dream Drop development, they released worlds rather quickly, and the game was released, I want to say, about a year after after the first world was announced. I'm going to be corrected again.
No, that's about right.
But if y'all can help me remember, and kind of looking at the development cycle for 3, I feel like we're gonna be waiting a couple more years, at least.
Well, they did say they had a preliminary release year, which was 2018 or so. The track record with the release years has not been particularly great because, we've expected delays. I mean, granted, they have not said anything about Kingdom Hearts and getting on a decade, but their preliminary release here, if I remember correctly, was somewhere in 2018 or something like that. It's still not ironclad, and considering how much, well, I don't know just how much more awesome they're planning to make it, but it is going to take a while. And the fact that Kingdom Hearts 2 was delayed, but it still didn't get the best camera angles that it could have gotten for the entire game. So Kingdom Hearts 3 has seen a massive shift in not just gameplay quality, but also cinematic quality. So if that's anything to go by, let's treat 2018 with a pinch of salt, shall we?
I remember something coming out about the so they had a list of games that were projected to come out in the next 3 years, and Kingdom Hearts 3 was among them. So
yeah.
Well, next 3 years sounds fairly realistic, I guess.
Next 3 years sounds realistic, but it also said projected to come, not guaranteed. So we have an estimated possible window, and that's the best we have at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like, after all the delays, I'm basically at this point expecting them to come out in 2020. I mean, they still have to do a 3-year version of Kingdom Hearts 3 and then port that to PS3 and eventually PS4, don't you know?
There was an actual Tumblr post, I don't recall who it was from, but basically gave all the release years of previous Kingdom Hearts games to date, and basically said Kingdom Hearts 3, 21/17.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. And it's like...
We had, my sister-in-law was actually telling us about how she had pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3 for her husband, since Amazon was listing it as coming out this December, and we were just like, oh, honey, no.
Oh, you poor thing. That's a placeholder date. Oh, goodness.
Yes, it's very easy for people to get swayed by any mention of a release date when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, credit where it's due. The new trailer looks a lot like 0.2 does.
Yeah.
And 0.2, that was pretty good looking, if I do say so myself.
It got a very much darker vibe. Obviously. Well, I say obviously, but I mean, I guess Kingdom Hearts 3 will be back to its relatively chipper self.
Yeah, as good as...
I'm really...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm going to out-humble you.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, with worlds like Tangled, which is a relatively chipper film. I mean, it has its dark moments, but it's a pretty happy film overall. And Big Hero 6, which is not as chipper as Tangled, but definitely a little bit more on the positive side in some aspects of the film. Well, I guess it has its darker moments. It's pretty even.
Definitely has its dark points.
And Hercules is kind of...
I mean, Destiny Islands doesn't... Yeah, Hercules is... Well, Hercules.
Hercules goes up and down, I guess.
I'm kind of hoping that 0.2, though, especially all the new mechanics they did for Aqua's combat system, I'm hoping that indicates that they're going to keep some of those mechanics, and like we're not just going to be Sora the whole time throughout Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, I should hope we can change. I should hope we were able to switch between party members at some point. Playable Kyrie is one of the things I've been long looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
completely.
That was after that secret video, and where it's like, oh, Kyrie's here, she's gonna fight, she's joining the fray. I've been really excited ever since came out.
Kind of going back to the music of this series and kind of how that relates to Kingdom Hearts 3. So based on the music and whatnot for the series, kind of some of your favorite tracks, specifically Disney Worlds. What would you like to see return, as far as if a world were to come back just for the music alone?
If a world were to come back just for the music alone, it would have to be Neverland for me.
Neverland? Okay.
I think for me, as much as I love Nightmare Before Christmas, I can't really see anything good coming out of trying to milk that any further. So I think I would go with Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I'm real excited to see Kingdom Hearts version of Davy Jones.
Well, I suppose that can be arranged, considering how much they've tried to milk that film.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
I mean, hey, Olympic Coliseum has been in every single one of the games, and it's going to be in this one. So, talk about
the thing about Olympus Coliseum is that I guess there's much of an extended plot for it to last a good few generations. You had Hercules as a baby. You had the Titans. You had the Muses. You had all of these. You could span it as long over a long period of time or a short period of time, depending on how you wanted it to happen. And really, I think the Muses covered all their bases. And speaking of, I actually rewatched some of the old songs of Hercules. It's a pity that we're not going to get the Muses, or we're not going to get anything like the Muses in the Kingdom Hearts games, because seriously, they were my favorite part of all of Hercules.
Gospel truth all the way.
Oh, they were definitely one of my favorites.
I tell you though, this is one of those instances where this is one of those few instances where other language dubs have actually been far superior to the English version, but that's only one of the very few instances.
Yeah, quite. But I was gonna say, between the Muses and James Woods as Hades, I definitely got an enjoyable experience out of the Hercules film.
Oh, James Woods is Hades. Isn't he still Hades in Kingdom Hearts anyway?
Yeah, he's done any role that he's been asked to do as Hades. He's reprised his role.
Oh, good.
Because he does such a good job.
He does.
He's probably the best Hades I've seen in any depiction of him.
Yeah. And especially the Japanese voice actor they picked out to do him is spot on. Like, I almost thought that was actually James Woods had been trained to speak his lines in Japanese.
Yeah, based on what I've seen on the trailers and whatnot, they did a good job with the casting for the Japanese version. I mean, I don't speak Japanese, and I can only understand and get so much from that.
That reminds me. Whom are they going to? The big question that every Kingdom Hearts 3 fan has been wondering: whom are they going to cast
as Master Xehanort? Yeah, because both the English and the
both versions.
Yeah.
I'm always going to remember Nimoy as Spock and as Xehanort. But whoever's going to replace Nimoy, although technically he can't really be replaced, has to do an equally good job. So there's quite a tall order to fulfill here.
So what are you guys kind of hoping they do as far? I mean, the Japanese version doesn't really affect us because we all play the English or the localized versions, if you will. So what are you hoping I guess the two questions: what do you think they'll do, and what are you hoping they'll do?
I mean, I'm sure Nimoy's been in the business long enough that there's got to be more than a few professional imitators of him who would, I'm sure, be just ecstatic to take his place on something. But if they can't find any of those, I'm hoping if they try and do some in-universe reason why he's not talking anymore, that it's at least somewhat graceful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a little bit. I kind of hope they either use what they have and
I mean, the big question now is if before his death Nimoy actually recorded stuff, because I remember that voice recording for Kingdom Hearts 3 actually started quite early.
Oh, that is a possibility. I don't know the process of game development itself and how that all goes down. Because
I mean, as far as I can tell, the voices are recorded quite early on because I was just keeping watch of the process of Kingdom Hearts 3 from day one. I remember a good few people basically saying that their spoken lines for Kingdom Hearts 3 were basically finished.
From what I saw, that was I don't know what you saw, but as far as what I saw, a lot of it was rumors. Like Bill Farmer, actually, he got confused between Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3D because he released a tweet a couple years back.
No, it wasn't that much. No, it wasn't that early.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about that long ago.
Oh, okay.
Actually. No, what I was thinking more like last year.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, then hopefully they.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, hopefully they have a solution then. But.
Yeah, I mean if they are planning to still use Nimoy's voice, I'm working on the assumption, which could be completely false. I'm working on the assumption that every single person's dialogue is recorded, and Nimoy managed to do that before his death. In which case, if they had a reason for him not to speak anymore, my only guess would be somebody must have wounded him Robespierre style.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or like they just won't insert him as much. They'll be using people like Xemnas and Brake and Young Xehanort to kind of talk for him, like they did in Dream Drop Distance.
There has to be an inscription in the credits saying "in loving memory of Leonard Nimoy" at some point.
I was gonna say they did it for
absolutely
Wayne Elwine. I would hope they would do it for both. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I don't remember exactly what it is, but both the Japanese and English voice actors of Master Xehanort.
Chikawatsuka.
Yes, thank you. I would butcher his name. I knew it was like CEO initials.
Chikawatsuka.
Yes, thank you.
Well, at least his son is still going strong.
But my biggest worry with that is that, kind of looking back on what they've done before, they replaced Wayne Elwine as Mickey Mouse. They replaced Sir Christopher Lee as Diz with Corey Burton. So
Corey Burton was all right.
He did a pretty good job, though.
Christopher Lee was amazing. There's no. You're bad. What ails you?
Yeah. What ails you? Speak up, boy.
There is no. He also not. I was just trying to think of his other roles. Christopher Lee's. Yeah, was he not Saruman? I was about to say.
Count Dooku.
Yeah, Count Dooku.
Oh,
Johnny Depp's dad.
What ails?
Willy Wonka's father in the remake.
But yeah, oh crikey. I mean, there's a touch of class about it. Corey Burton did an amazing job, and I guess if you weren't paying attention, you could pass him off for the actual thing. However, I think you just I think there's always something that is going to be quite different. I can hear Wayne Allwyn. I can hear the difference between Wayne Allwyn's and Brett Iwan's voices.
Yeah.
Even if Brett Iwan does a great Mickey Mouse. Don't get me wrong, but we all grew up with Wayne Allwyn. We're going to be used to Wayne Allwyn's voice. The younger players among us will probably only have known Brett Iwan. That's fine, and it'll be their Mickey Mouse. But Wayne Allwyn is always going to be our Mickey Mouse.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think with Master Xehanort too, going back to that, is he has a lot of really distinct parts of his voice that's probably going to be interesting to see duplicated.
Oh, the worst part about this, bearing in mind that this was in the time of Birth by Sleep, where Master Xehanort's voice was revealed and all that stuff in English, mind you. Unbirth, or Alpha 21, as he's alternatively known, who founded the Kingdom Hearts Francophone Wiki, when he was speaking to me about this 10 years ago, oh crikey, he made a very awful foreshadowing of what Leonard Nimoy was going through by basically calling Master Xehanort Master Lung Cancer.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I know, it was horrendous, but the trouble was, it sounded like he had used. Credit where it's due, he did use what had become of his voice to his advantage.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, and it's so, there you can hear it.
Yeah.
The French appellation for him was even less honorable. Maître Laryngite, or Master Laryngitis. It wasn't laryngitis at all. And you certainly, you don't know why. With someone a character being depicted who is that old, anything could happen to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he was also getting quite up there in age as well. If I'm remembering correctly, he was in his 90s.
Yeah, just about 93.
Something like that, yes.
I don't. Ripe old age.
Yeah, but yeah. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what they'll do with Master Xehanort. Now,
Nimoy certainly lived long and prospered.
He quite did. He did, and he definitely left an impact on a lot of people, and did a wonderful job. But kind of going back to what we saw in the
that is a bad pun.
In the trailer, what are you guys thinking about the gameplay so far that we've seen?
Oh man, it looks so. It looks like they're taking all the elements from all the games that did so well and just throwing it all in a game, and I'm so excited.
I can definitely see what they did well, like with Days, how they did that well.
They brought back flow motion. They brought back I'm not sure whether it's drive forms, but it certainly appears to be some sort of costume change mid-battle. But I'm not sure if they are actually the drive forms that we know of Kingdom Hearts 2. But they did bring back the Kingdom Hearts menu, the Kingdom Hearts-esque menu, with Kingdom Hearts 2 sliders. They brought, and there's a general dynamic quality about it that Kingdom Hearts 2 had to a degree. But they really upped it all the way to 11 here. One thing I noticed, I think somebody remarked this, the clouds in, this is supposed to be Mount Olympus, from what I can tell, because judging by judging by the film, it had these pillars of cloud. So this was supposed to be Mount Olympus. If this was supposed to be Mount Olympus and this was supposed to be a wall of clouds, by heck were the clouds cheap?
I didn't really notice, but now that I think about it,
If you actually stop, you pause for frame, and I think they're probably working on that some more. But there's only one small there's only one small outline of light all surrounding the clouds at the background, which really shouldn't be happening if this is meant to be clouds imbued with light. So, we remember the light in those clouds when in the film version. Here it looks like the clouds are made of. It looks like the clouds are made of plaster of Paris.
yeah.
Troisnyx, I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you. Do we need to adjust something?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better?
Yes.
I'm trying to speak a little closer to the mic.
I don't know if anybody else
Yeah,
is hearing that.
I was hearing your break.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah, it was like interference almost.
Right, I'm speaking closer to the mic. I hope that helps. But yeah, basically Mount Olympus's clouds in Kingdom Hearts 3 so far look like plaster of Paris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I could see that a little bit.
Apart from that, I think they're slowly getting the hang of certain textures. I mean, the Rock Titan fight certainly looks a lot more polished than when it was first revealed to us.
Completely.
I'm not sure if we have them rides and things because, judging from what I can see, the very first gameplay trailer that they released was basically testing out the gameplay mechanisms. I don't think you canonically get some of those ride attacks that you do with the Rock Titan fights.
Yeah, I don't know if those rides will actually line up with the Rock Titan fight and whatnot.
Considering that Olympus Coliseum / Mount Olympus is the first world in the entire game.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. I gotta say, one thing that I was excited about, and I know it's a little bit silly, but the fact that somehow the Olympus Keyblade is clearly giving Sora a stand with the whole Muda thing.
JoJo's reference.
I know that's silly, but I kind of love it.
There were people reacting on the thumbnails how when he's idle, it's a smile, and when he's in battle, it's a frown.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? Your mic cut
Hello?
out again.
When people were reacting to the thumbnails, Sora's image and all that stuff, and there was that when it was idle, it was a smile, and when it was in battle, it was a frown. Plus the fact that you don't have to switch out party members, you don't have to have 3 at a time. Hercules joins you by default.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice thing to see. Kind of a step up from the gameplay, because we have a lot more to work with. We have a bigger engine where we don't have to have only 3 people in a party, where our engine...
I mean, Unreal 4 is reasonably powerful as is. It's not the most powerful out there by stretch. I think the most powerful out there is the Doom engine. But Unreal 4 is actually quite capable of handling what it has handled so far.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
And to tack onto that, what you guys were saying about the party members, come on. This is supposed to be the battle to save the universe. They better have those party members saying, maybe I should go help Sora on other worlds and not just tell him, whatever, you can figure it out.
Or
go ahead.
Or they could have or they could have an Okamiden-like system, which I don't know if you've played it or intended to play it, but the idea was that towards the end, the party members were summoned from all the corners of the world to basically help you in your final fight.
Oh, that would be amazing. Like if Hercules and Aladdin and Rapunzel and everyone just show up at the Keyblade graveyard.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes.
Oh, and maybe
Now,
we could have some NPCs. Freaking birth.
Yeah.
actual NPCs, but not only that, actual talking NPCs. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether this was the case in Final Fantasy 15, for example, but in Final Fantasy 13, and I remember this, you passed by people, you could hear them talking, their idle conversation continued for as long as you were there.
Funny thing, I was actually going to bring up Final Fantasy 13, so great minds think alike.
I mean, Final Fantasy 15 made a bit more of a return to classic Final Fantasy. 3D Final Fantasy, anyway. But 13, that was one of the good points about 13, and I sincerely hope that there will be a bit more atmosphere, because I remember how dismal Kingdom Hearts 1 was in terms of NPCs.
And
I mean, let us never forget the sad story that is Agrabah after the Keyblade was after the keyhole was sealed, because Traverse Town had all its NPCs and all that. Okay, it was a relatively desolate town. I can understand. It was basically refugee haven, but Agrabah is meant to be a bustling place. Not only was the whole thing contained in squares, you also had the fact that you only had 2 NPCs turn up. Who for a limited time turned up in Aladdin's house, and an unnamed NPC handling one measly little shop. Let us never forget the horror that is Agrabah after the Keyblade was sealed. Keyhole was sealed.
Okay, so I'm going to take your Agrabah in Kingdom Hearts 1, and I'm going to raise you to Olympus Coliseum and Castle of Dreams and Birth by Sleep, where they reference the NPCs, where they had enough room to filter or to put in NPCs, and then just didn't. They had the cheering crowds from after Zack's fight, and there was no one in the stands. And they had...
that was crazy.
You know what the worst part is as well? The worst part as well, there were some things that ought to have been rendered in 3D that were not. And you were just thinking to yourself, man, did they get lazy. Okay, maybe you couldn't so much render the magic mirror in 3D at the time. Understandable. But you couldn't render a curtain and ropes tying it in 3D? The whole thing looked like it was made of fucking paper.
Yeah.
I know the thing that always drove me up a wall with those games were the fish faces.
Oh, the default faces. Oh, God. Let's get rid of those in Kingdom Hearts 3.
If I see one.
Let us never forget.
House.
No, seriously, let us never forget the horror that was Sora's and Kairi's beta faces in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yes, during like that meaningful conversation. And
oh, crikey. I'm glad they corrected it, because by heck did it look like nightmare fuel.
gosh.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts 1 was already nightmare fuel in its own respect.
Yeah.
You didn't really need Sora's and Kairi's faces to do it for you.
Now, kind of given all that we've said, as a quick comment, because we're coming close on the time here, what do we want the next world to be revealed at D23? What do we think that thing that Sora is holding in the background at the end of that trailer is? What world do you think is next?
It
What was
honestly
Sora
looked,
holding in the background?
What's that?
it looked
What was Sora holding in the background?
We don't know. It was some weird, like, gun-looking thing-ish machine.
Oh, right.
it,
I'm just trying to think.
it looked like it
So
was definitely supposed to be technological, but it had kind of an aesthetic to it where it looked like maybe it was Magitech. So I'm definitely gonna go with Atlantis. Like that looked like something out of Atlantis
see
to
that.
me.
Joey?
so here
I-
is my thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now that Disney has bought Marvel and
Uh-huh.
Star Wars, I don't want to see either of those in Kingdom Hearts. I love them too much.
Bless.
I can just see them going off a wall with that, and it would scare the hell out of me. So I can say those are two things that I don't want to see.
I sincerely hope that if they do bring them, neither Donald or Goofy get involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Because
something.
it's bad enough, or Mickey for that matter. It's bad enough as is to have it in Kingdom Hearts. I think we're all of the view that it shouldn't be desecrated.
You don't want to see Spider-Man and Donald Duck and Darth Vader having a three-way fight?
You're gonna set me up.
Something small and contained like Big Hero 6 I think will work pretty well, but like I don't want anything with the multiverse or like all the like Millennium Falcon or anything. Like that's just gonna clash way too much if you start like trying to say like, well, how do midichlorians work?
I think the worst part, I think the one thing I actually hated about some bits of Kingdom Hearts 2 and also some bits of Union Cross, which I sincerely hope they do not bring into Kingdom Hearts 3, is the use of promotional Disney material in whatever respect. Now, with Moana and Maui, it was not so bad. They had decent medals. Zootopia, no, I'm not feeling it at all. And Chicken Little had no relevance in the story whatsoever other than to be shoehorned as a summon back in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, that's
He
fair.
was a little bit useful in Timeless River at one point. But yeah, like I don't know, I feel like
I just don't want any more shoehorning happening. This is meant to be the epic conclusion, if you will.
Okay, given that.
What? I say epic conclusion.
Given that, Troisnyx, do you think that Dumbo was shoehorned into Kingdom Hearts? The first one. Because he didn't have a homeworld and whatnot.
I sincerely hope they bring his homeworld, because they should. Now, with Kingdom Hearts 1, there was a plot point. These were characters whose worlds have been lost. I mean, apart from the genie and Tinkerbell, Bambi's world was lost. We have not seen it yet. Even though quite a bit of material has come out for it, Bambi's world was not there. Dumbo's world hasn't quite been there yet, which I would like to see. Kingdom Hearts 2 only brought 2 of these worlds to light, which is obviously the Land of Dragons and the Pride Lands. But the other thing to mention also is that for Birth by Sleep Final Mix, they were planning to bring in the Jungle Book.
But do you do you think that Dumbo and Bambi were shoehorned in as much as Chicken Little was?
As far as I can tell, yes and no. Yes, in the respect that we haven't seen their worlds yet. No, in the sense that they managed to tie it in with actual plot points in Kingdom Hearts 1. Everything made sense in Kingdom Hearts 1. Whenever you presented their gems to the fairy godmother, she actually, that you could hear her reactions, you could hear her sadness, you brought them back to life, or in other words, you brought them back from the dead. to help you.
It's zombie Dumbo.
Right.
You literally brought them back from the dead to help you. And that being said,
I love that way of putting it.
and Kingdom Hearts 2 may have had destroyed worlds, but there was no context for Chicken Little's summon ability. You just got the baseball charm, and that was it.
Yeah.
There was you don't know why you got the baseball charm, you didn't know what relevance it had to the plot.
And it was in a weird point, too. Like... Actually, no, I'm thinking of Stitches. Where did you get Chicken Littles?
I don't even remember.
I think you just get it in, like, the underworld or something, don't
that's
you?
right.
Yeah.
Baseball charm.
We work for the wiki,
But,
we
like-
should know better.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
For
I
me,
think the-
What else summons?
I just thought, like, just the choice of which summons they picked in Kingdom Hearts 1, like, as just for who they chose, I thought fit really well. Like, for example, Mushu, basically a Disney version of Bahamut. Like, he even uses Mega Player. Bambi kind of replaces Kirin or Unicorn. He has that kind of, like, support status thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you have like Simba as a Maduin, like XP, like those ones, like just as who they're picking and what they did felt like a really good choice. Kingdom Hearts 2, I don't know, it just, to me personally, it felt more like they were just like,
Kingdom Hearts 2's summon system fell really flat on its face. I mean, they brought the genie back, but the genie's summon was lackluster. They brought Peter Pan and Tinkerbell back, but their summon was lackluster. In fact, I preferred them when they actually... Well, I preferred Tinkerbell when she actually stayed with you to heal you and to revive you if you died once. Stitch... Of course, we have a world for him now, which is there's no disputing where he wound up.
But we didn't have that back when 2 came out.
Well, we didn't have that back then, but I can forgive it a bit as a result of the world appearing. Chicken Little is the one I can forgive the least.
Yeah.
Let's just put it
he's
that
just
way.
out of nowhere.
At least for Stitch, he was an actual character in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, you got him as a summon, but he actually showed up and was doing things in Radiant Garden.
Yeah, fucking everybody over, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Being adorable at the same time.
What Stitch does best.
That.
But...
Well...
But yeah, it definitely felt a lot. The summon system, like, for the only real time I used Genie was in the cups when he would give a lot of orders.
Yeah.
And the only time I used Chicken Little and Peter Pan weren't until I played the Final Mix versions, and I played them on Critical, and they were quite useful. They were great, but outside of that, like, if you're just playing through the vanilla version regularly, they're not going to be useful.
The only time, and I do play Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix as well, the only time I ever used any of the Kingdom Hearts 2 summons, any single one, was to basically fulfill objectives in Jiminy's journal. That was it. I had no use for them in the plot, except when you had to reach a certain level of something for Atlantica.
Right.
And yeah, even that was shoehorned. Good riddance.
Screw the second game.
I've been saying that for years.
I think we say that, but we can forgive it in the light of what Recoded became.
Oh no! Come on, I love Recoded.
Okay, so
I may be the only one on the planet, but I love it.
Okay, so to keep away from that topic, we do have to end it a little bit here. So quickly, what do you think the next world is going to be? or what do you kind of want to see, and what do you think that machine thing is at the end of the latest trailer?
I mean, I'll kind of stand behind Paul here, Kryten, and I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Atlantis at all. I would definitely like to see that.
I'd like to see the worlds that they forgot to tie in. I'd like to see Dumbo's world. I'd like to see Bambi's world. I'd like to see the
Would you
Jungle
like to
Book.
see Chicken Little's world?
Oh crikey! If they had a justification for it, if they decided to make it a world of repose, much like with 100 Acre Wood, considering you might likely not get that in all of Kingdom Hearts 3, there is time travel involved. I'm not sure if Sora's going to do that.
Yeah.
I personally, I'd love to see Atlantis. I think the themes in it would fit pretty well. And then I know Troisnyx and Roxas haven't seen Moana yet, so I don't want to give too many spoilers. But I think anybody who has seen it, like, there's just so many things that it's just perfect. It's the stories, the details. Like, they even have something called a Wayfinder in there. Just it would fit.
To restore the heart of Tefiti.
Yeah.
To restore the heart of
Tefiti.
Kingdom Hearts. How many parallels of how many parallels with Kingdom Hearts has Moana drawn now?
I almost feel like there had to have been a Kingdom Hearts fan on the staff there, just kind of nudging things a little.
I'd like to believe so.
But like, yeah.
But you know,
personally, okay, sorry.
No.
Personally, for Moana, I honestly feel like it would work better as something to tie into however they're going to do the gummy ship system, or even if they're doing something aside from that, because Moana, for me, really, that movie feels like a way better character to do something with travel instead of being a specific world. So I think it would be really cool if, I don't know how they're going to do gummy ships this time. I think it would be cool if they tie Moana into that.
I kind of initially, when I saw the picture and was kind of looking at it, I actually got Meet the Robinson vibes a little bit.
Oh,
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
But I was looking up some of the machines, and there's nothing in there that looks anything like it. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I thought I had it figured out. Oh, well. But I got...
that moment plan.
But I'm like, oh, it's like an invention-looking type thing. That would be cool. So I don't think that's it. I think it would either be Atlantis or possibly a Treasure Planet type thing, maybe? Because they had pretty cool machinery and whatnot, and I loved that movie. Oh my gosh.
I would love to see Treasure Planet. I would love to see Treasure Planet actually come in there.
So well.
Yes.
It's its own contained world.
Because we hadn't heard much about it since the release of the film.
And then something else I noticed, tiny bit of spoiler for Final Fantasy 15, not anything big. Episode Prompto.
Oh, I'm closing my ears now.
It's not anything big that's relevant to the plot, but it takes place in a very cold place. And there's a little notification when you get your winter clothes that says something along the lines of, here's your winter clothes, not that the cold bothered you anyway. And that just came out, and it worries me a little bit. And that is something the fans are crying for.
I
no.
beat that dead horse in the face, but it was a good movie.
It was a good movie, but stay away.
No, I don't want Frozen to.
For the record, for somebody who hasn't caught, anybody that hasn't caught wind yet, we are talking about Frozen.
I do not want Frozen to appear in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's already overplayed as is.
Yeah. I mean,
Hercules, by comparison, even if the Olympus Coliseum appeared in every game, Hercules is fairly underrated.
Fair.
Right.
A lot of the 90s and 2000s Disney films were so underrated. And then you have a bloody cash milking dog called Frozen.
Not that I want it, but I see it being done very easily.
Oh no,
Unfortunately.
definitely. Because of how popular it is, I totally see Frozen slipping in
Yes.
there. Which, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm just going to be the basic bitch, and I like Frozen. I would love for it to be there.
At least you sit here and admit it, though.
That's alright, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
You
because
sit behind the screen. I want it.
Alright.
Power to you.
But given all that information and all we've talked about, I think it's a good time to cut this podcast off. So thank you for joining me, you three, because none of you three have been on an episode of the Rap Room yet. So thank you for doing this for the first time and all the hassle that went into an hour before this.
Hey, you know what? We did it.
Yeah. we started at like 4:30 and it's now 7:30, so that was fun.
Beep. Beep.
So,
well, except for Troy's here.
Yeah. Bless all you three.
It is now the 3rd of July where I'm at.
We
so-
advanced an
I
entire
thought
day.
so. I was like, it's gotta be like 6 hours ahead or something over there.
Well, if most of you are in EST, I'm 5 hours ahead of you.
Yeah, so we've actually covered 2 dates in the time we've recorded this podcast. So it's a good time to cut it off.
Yeah.
Alright, but given that, thank you three for joining me, and thank the rest of you for listening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And so this has been another episode of the Ron Room. Signing off is RoxasXIIILK.
Woo!
KrytenKoro.
Yo!
And Troisnyx.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm sorry, I don't actually know how to pronounce your full name. I just know Troisnyx.
Well, Troisnyx is fine.
Troisnyx it is. So thank you, Troisnyx. And
Thank
this
you.
has been Chainoffire signing off. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.